hello everyone. Oh, I don't need this. So, yes, hello, welcome everyone back to the, hopefully, fingers crossed, the final stream for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Final episode begins. Yes, it does. I'm gonna power through this last trial. Rumor has it is in 3 parts, so we're just gonna see what happens, and you know, we're just gonna power through this and finally figure out who did the crime, although I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but it's not guaranteed. Yeah, so last time we did a little bit more investigation and we kind of snooped around Chief Deputy Damon Gant's office, found some things. He had some things. He did do it. Mr. Gant did it. And we found some very incriminating evidence, if I do say so myself. And unfortunately, may or may not have gotten Detective Gumshoes fired. So, we'll see. But without further ado, let's just hop right into this final day, final trial. February 20... That would have been really freaky if today was February 25th, but no, today is February 26th. But yeah, February 25th, 9:47 a.m. This is the defendant lobby, all right, but there's no defendant. Been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Ima, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Hi. Oh yeah, not Detective Gant, whatever, Mr. Gant, he asked Ima to stay behind for some questioning, and probably shouldn't have let that happen, Phoenix Wright, but it is what it is. We'll see. Edgeworth. Knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of this 7777777 ID number is. That is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. That number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. Sorry. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any case, in any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Edgy wants a little kiss, he wants a little smooch. He's like a little pat on the head. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. Rogue face. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. I'll be found guilty, Frog. This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. 10 a.m. Let's get this going. Funk. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. 10 a.m. and already tired. I know. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Gasp. What? Man just phased into existence, like... Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Uji, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? He's about to get all serious on me. Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. Wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it would save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Hi, Lana. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? Nani? I confess to all the charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. But you didn't! You didn't, Lana! It's a lie! You're lying! Objection! Can I object to her statements? In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No! Lana! Object. I do object. There you go, Phoenix. You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, don't you fire me, lady! I swear to gosh. I no longer require your... Get the heck out of here! But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although it is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
That's what I thought. Yeah, Edgeworth! Edgeworth! He's here to save the day. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. He's like, no, I want to be the one who makes her guilty. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, No, you can't tell me you had to... I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Ooh, Edgeworth, bring in the sass, let's go. Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Worthy. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Ima Sky. I like saying it that way, it's fun. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care. I don't care. My courtroom, well, it's not his, it's the judge's courtroom, technically, but no, Edgeworth ain't having none of it. I don't care what you think, Miss Sky. Edgeworth is just like, no, like, just, everyone shut up. I'm here. This is my time to shine. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very Very well, the court shall proceed. Words. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Nah, man, take your piercing green eyes and get out of here. Miss Ema Sky, please take the stand. It's like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Let's go. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Ema Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry. But I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Shut up, Judge. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. I want the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Let's go, Ema. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A band came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Alright.
Hold it!
2 years ago, the defendant was a detective, at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under the then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. That organ's been there for a while then, jeez. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
Hold it!
A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. He would destroy a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
Hold it!
What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but... Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then... Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about it when I saw it, what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman. Victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw. Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, but I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. This picture that Ima drew, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us? A man. Okay, the real question is, what evidence am I going to use? Because there's a lot. I got a lot of new evidence. That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage. When the lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Drake and I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Ima doesn't have any reason to lie. Lana sure does. I need to get Ima to tell me as much about this as she can. Okay, I feel like it's this because I do have the image. It's on the back of this. Yes. Yes.
Objection!
Let's go. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying... And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that, wow, words are hard right now. All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. Wow, words. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! Behold! My drawing. Yes, everyone take a peek at it. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's this? Schmurder. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. I remember that picture anywhere. I don't know how to draw dudes, so I just drew him like this. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. I can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? Gadzooks. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. This list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. M's. M's. I'm not gonna start screaming M's into my microphone. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Edgeworth, chill with the screen shake. Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. I hate it so much. I hate this song. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. Guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court. Very well. Witness, will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir. Your Honor. What's wrong with Ema? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. I like her thinking face. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant. I think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. Edgeworth presses X to doubt. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. What's she say? Saw. Say saw. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky. 2 or 3 days later. Memories should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness? Can you please tell us why this picture is painted in all black? All I could see were shadows. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Ina. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed?
Hold it!
You mean you didn't see an actual schmurder take place? No, I'm sorry.
Objection!
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation... understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Hold it!
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well, is there something bothering me about this picture? That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Blade looks awfully dull. I mean, yeah? So, what do I don't know how to present this, though. I could see her shadows after that. I must have fainted. Because the other Marshall was killed with this switch knife, right? So, what does the autopsy say? It says he was stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was found in the wound. Do I use the autopsy or do I use the knife? Single stab wound, piercing heart/lung, died from blood loss and under 10 minutes. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. So, obviously this is the statement I need to use, but the question is, do I use the autopsy to prove it, or do I use the knife? So if the knife was already dull with the tip inside the body, then there would have been 2 stabs, right? So if the knife was already dull with the tip inside the body, but it says he was only stabbed once. mean, this dude's gotta be made of steel to break a tip of a knife inside of himself. Oh, okay. So then... Yeah, but... Do I use the knife? Or do I use the autopsy? I know it's one of the two of them, I just don't know which one. What shows the contradiction? I mean, technically they both can. A single stab wound, piercing heart and lung. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. Oh! This. I'm gonna... This. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it like just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? The knife.
Take that!
The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the Schmurder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the Schmurderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Ina. These poor desks, they probably get beaten all the time. Just beaten up. There's just like a permanent handprint for where Edgeworth just keeps slamming his hand. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stabbed wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the Schmurder weapon should not have been broken yet. Ah! Yeah. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. You know what? That's valid logic. That's very sound logic. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Careful. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? Hey, listen, all I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. I like that how many times he hits the gavel, he actually does say order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the Schmurder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Drake. Dark. My gosh. is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. Someone's eating hot chip and lying. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual Schmurder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dart's? Could there have been one? Do I have evidence of another broken... I do have evidence of another broken knife. There is another one. At least I think I have evidence of another broken knife. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instance, Ima really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The Schmurder weapon was already broken prior to the Schmurder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. It's the real Schmurder weapon. This. The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken Schmurder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor marshal is holding? There's a broken knife. There's a broken knife. That's a broken knife. Technically, it's a scabbard. Scabbard the sword or the shield? I think it's this. It's the sword. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Okay, I was right. I know my weapon history. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. And as a reward, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in a dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh. I like the headcanon of just like, Phoenix Wright is just there, and all of a sudden he just reaches over and grabs like a cookie, and everyone's like, "Where is this guy getting cookies from?" Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the Schmurder weapon, then the Schmurderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising a knife would be the prosecutor, Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness. Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture? With that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. This song's gonna haunt me in my dreams. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside of me. don't like how she said that. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw it. The blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. What? This is certainly most unusual.
Objection!
Shut up, Edgeworth. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Stop! Please, don't pursue this any further. You'll let me... Okay, you're gonna let me sweat before you help me? That's fine. What is the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Getting down to it. We're getting down to it. Let's go.
Hold it!
I'm just gonna press everything because I don't get detained. I don't get penalized for pressing. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. Power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then you...
Hold it!
Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. So they were tussling. She pushed the person who was holding a knife over. That probably gave Joe Dark a chance to actually do the stabbing, you know? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Miss Skye was almost killed before she was a witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was a very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next?
Hold it!
Are you sure about this? Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. Hey, I don't like him, but Edgeworth, that's a little much, man. What you eating? I was eating a donut. It was a Krispy Kreme, just regular plain glazed donut. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Thank you for joining us, friend. Welcome, welcome. We're trying to solve some crime. Solve some crime, do some time. You know, just hang out. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling like that I'd seen him somewhere before. Yeah. Now I finally remember. Oh, brother, just when you thought that that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
Hold it!
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
Objection!
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. Get out of here, Edgeworth. That may be well. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all. You too. Heck yeah! Well, I'm so happy you joined us today. I hope it's Sharona? I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, sit back, relax, get cozy. What game are you playing on your Switch? I'm curious, I want to know. I hope you got some water, a drink, a snack. Let's go. Yes, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, CJ. If so, then by all means, please tell us what the shadow really was. What was it Ima saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? Do I know who it is? Oh! I do. Is it this? Is it the jar? Yeah! Let's go, gamers. Alright. I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Ima drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. That would explain why that jar thing has blood on it. Slay the Spire. Nice! Hades is a good game. I have yet to beat Hades. I rage quit so hard when I play Hades. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looks similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright! It's the best chill game. Fair enough. I have always been interested in Slay the Spire, but I have yet to actually play it. So maybe, once Phoenix Wright is done, who knows, maybe we'll do a couple Slay the Spire runs. I was thinking of Hades though, actually, now that you say that. But we'll get to that after. Let's do some crime. Let's deduct some things. Let's object to some things. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? This. It's this. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this random jar. But that's, what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? Too many games to play. I agree with that. Too many games, not enough time. Oh, okay. True. Okay. What kind of orientation is this thing? Is it this? 'Cause it's broken. Let's try it. This is broken. It is. 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 Let's try it. Let's try it. This isn't right. I've got to make it look more like a blue badger.
Objection!
Allow me to remind the defense its case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim. Got to find the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more or horizontally. Oh god, this song's gonna get stuck in my head. Okay. So... Take...
Take that!
Ah! I hit the wrong button. I meant to hit R, not E.
Objection!
Yeah. Got it. Yep, I know. Let me... Game, please. Okay, this is a really weird jar. Okay, so I already tried it like this. Okay, because clearly it's some type of... Oh, okay. This?
Take that!
This isn't...
Objection!
Oh, I don't want to have to keep playing Jenga with this thing. You almost had it. It needs top up more. Got it. Okay. Let's see. Stop it. Okay. More top nub. More. Is it literally just like this? Okay, let's try this. Okay.
Objection!
I get it. Okay. More top nub. Cause like, how much more top nub? Cause like this piece is broken, so I know I probably can't use this. Get it from the bottom. Thanks! I literally just washed it before stream. I literally came home, walked the dog, showered, and was like, I gotta get on stream. You guys are so smart. We're just gonna... Okay, more. All good. I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay. This is definitely not that. Okay, so that kind of looks... I wonder, like, how close I have to get. Now, we're same low-key. I came home, ate some pasta. About to start streaming too. Sweet! Thanks, local seamstress. You're trying... No, I'm not trying. I'm trying to mimic... I'm trying to make this pot look like this little dude up at the top here. It needs to be exact. I feel like this is pretty close.
Take that!
Got it. That's a different screen. Well, is this a miracle or what? Also, local seamstress, I hope you have a good stream. And I hope you had a good day as well. Thanks for popping in. I'm not sure how long you'll be here, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Seen playthroughs of this game before. All good. Yeah, I'm the big dumb sometimes, and this game is hard. Alright, no one could possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. I just need this song to end. I dislike this song so much. No, it can't be. I want to get a little gavel. Maybe I'll make one for the next 2 games, so that way I can pretend to be the judge too. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? Hey, Edgeworth, chill. You give me a second, I'll get to the point. And because Phoenix Wright has so many points, his hair's literally all points. Look at all this hair. Look at all that hair. What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm sad Phoenix Wright doesn't have like a finger wiggle, because everyone else, I feel like, Edgeworth's got one, Von Karma had one. I'm sure other people had them as well. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The location. Wait. Hold on. Give me this. Traces. Wait, the location. It changes the location. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, might I add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Gant. Keep calling him Grant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, but it is these 2 facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. But they're the same office. They're the same. I guess 2 different sides. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. I like how reason-ish. Reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? It would have to have been the impact the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. It's a suit of armor, which I'm still very confused on why he has this in his office. Like, who's just like, hey, I want a gold-plated suit in my office. Why? Because I can. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah! The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. It's actually a spear, Your Honor. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, it would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, I am thinking. My brain is on fire. There was another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Wouldn't you have... you know what? Understandable. If I could have a full plate suit of armor just hanging around my house, yeah, why not? I'd put it next to my Halo swords. Oh, the suit of armor could be wielding the Halo swords. I'll just get a life-size Master Chief armor and then just have him dual wield energy swords. Anyway, another possibility, you say? Of course the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Ema Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Rip. All girls want is just a suit of armor. That's all we want. My god, Ema killed him! You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Womp womp. No! Thud. She hit the ground. Wow. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So this is what the victim who took the so it was the victim, wow, words. It was the witness who took the victim's life. And then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. I can just imagine she's just like on the ground. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Darksh murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How could you think it was Ema? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Ema did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? Do I have? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. Turns away. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. But certainly can't get dead people to... I mean, if Maya were here, she might be able to, but she's off under a waterfall probably. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Edgeworth has an idea. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. Well, I mean, there's still so many possibilities. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. Yeah, he was there for like 10 minutes, it said. Like, imagine. Oh. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Is it though? Well, Mr. Wright, is this the only possibility left for you? Oh, sorry. This is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Got to think back to the court record. The real schmurderer's name. Yeah. It's probably this. It's probably this. Whoa, is in evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister's a schmurderer? It's accidental. She didn't mean to. She was in shock. Yeah, it's fine. Don't be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Ima of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. Give me the truth. No matter how painful it may be. I'll rip it off like a band-aid. Now then, Mr. Wright. Please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Take that!
I think it's this. This is the message from the deceased. It's a piece of cloth. Right. Now then. This is the message. Aw. Rip. Oh. I guess that wasn't right. A dead person left behind a message. Have to be written in written form. It's the only logical conclusion. Better be careful or you might wind up. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Oh, didn't Ed, you can't handle the truth. I can't, nor can I. I think Phoenix Wright had said that this looks like something. Dark stains must be blood traces from the incident 2 years ago. Only the fragment found in Chief Gant's office was still has lines remaining on it. I feel like it's this. 'Cause I don't have nothing else. So it wasn't this. So I feel like it has to be this. It doesn't... Grumble. Evidence room. Yeah, I think that's the evidence, though. 'Cause I can use evidence, like same evidence multiple times, just in different circumstances, right? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's this then, because I don't really have, because it says evidence from the SL9 incident. This was part of the final fragment found. I feel like it's the jar. Wait. Yes. Alright, chat says it's the jar, so we're gonna trust chat. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? Maybe. Maybe not. We shall see. We shall figure it out. We shall determine what is going on. That thing could. I'm sure it would. It's like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. Jar? Nah. That ain't no jar. That's a blue badger. The message was left here, on the surface of this jar. Do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here, drawn in blood. Instead of a line drawn in the sand, it's drawn in blood now. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these dots, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Is it just gonna say Ima written on the side of the jar? Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? I don't know, sir. I'm not a detective. Oh, wait, no, I can totally see it now. Yep. Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Got to connect these dots to make letters. Only one thing the victim could have written given the circumstances. His schmurderer's name. How... Okay. Okay. How do I... Okay. Bop. 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 Okay. Bop. No. Bop. 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 Okay. 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 I just gotta find the bop. Bop. Wow, I love this. I'm sure this was probably more, what's the word I'm looking for? It was probably a lot more fun with the stylus of the DS back then.
Take that!
I'm sorry, Ema. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Says Ema. Ema. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Unfortunately, yes. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Ema Sky. Ooh. 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 What's going on? Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. This dude, never mind whatever was going on with Ema. This dude. I mean, you shock and awe. I know, I'm so sorry, because I definitely am playing this on the DS. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final schmurder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? I don't like when his eyeballs do that. Ack! I love the DS tab button. Oh yes, the DS escape button. My favorite. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. I do not know how to make that sound effect. But Joe Dark really was a serial schmurderer. That's undeniable. I mean, did he attempt to schmurder him? Attempted schmurder is just as punishable as schmurder. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? But we're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Yeah, but you also killed someone, so let's not start, okay? Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. Food's almost as orange as the desk. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? I mean, you're right, he ain't wrong. But, there's one big but here. And it's Damon Gant's butt. Because he's the largest man I've ever seen in this game. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Except for the game devs. They know where it's going. Alrighty. To be continued. Wow. I was not expecting that. I honestly was not expecting the twists and turns that is this trial. Like, it's just... Who would have thought that Ema was the one who actually killed the cowboy cop's brother. But again, she didn't do it on purpose. She was in shock. She thought she just saw guy with knife, push guy with knife. Maybe. See, this could have all been avoided if Damon Gant did not have a suit of armor, an armed suit of armor, in his office. So really, the true schmurderer is Damon Gant for having that thing in his office. It's a hazard. At least put like some kind of protector coat on it or something to dull it. See, like he should just he's really the one to blame. Sorry, I am. All right, gamers, we're just gonna hop right back into this because we're gonna finish this trial. Finish this trial. February 25th, 1206. Interesting theory, right? So, and also, is like their office the only one in that, like on that floor? Because he went up, and it's like, is it just the one office that was there? It's on the 15th floor. Like, jeez. I'm sure there's other things. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. So edgy. Damn. Gumshoe! Help me, please. Everything's going to shit. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Hustle's back. You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. And on top of that, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Oh my gosh. I take it Lana's having you run errands again? Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. I love it. I love the little... Oh, my face is covering it. Hold on. Hold on. I'm just gonna move it over here for a second. Look at it! He's interrupting them flirting for sure. Look at this little duck! It's so cute. I love it. I want this book, even though I do not need an evidence law book, but that's fine. Wait, can I? Sweet. Cool. Alright. Here, she asked me to give you this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. I like how the important words are, like, red. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. I mean, I feel like a defense attorney should know that. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him? Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket. Dude, how big are my pockets if I can fit a whole book in there? Definitely not lady pockets. That's for sure. Definitely not a lady coat. This is a real man's coat. It's got them big pockets. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Objection! Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Ema Sky was found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, You're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. Oh, she merely stuck a knife into his dead body. Oh, he was hung up? That's so rude. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. We're gonna take his pants. Ooh. This is the pockets. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Is my health reset? My oopsies reset? I hope so. I don't want it. I don't want to be... I don't want to be oopsied again. Hey, to be fair, I only made one mistake last time. I'm just gonna say it. I was pretty good. Pretty good. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, ahem. Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, ahem, cough, cough. This isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. Someone else did. Jimmy said it. I didn't say it. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. He believes in it. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. You call the wrong witness. This trial is as good as over. Defense calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real schmurderer. This guy.
Take that!
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? He's got a lot to do with things, actually. As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. Would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? He's so smooth. True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. I want to look at this man. One last time. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? To answer the damn question. Your name and occupation. I won't ask you again. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant, and I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. No, no, no. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Acting chief? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. I'm going to tear this man apart. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with this forgery. There's a ghost behind me. Yes, that's my tea and snack ghost. Brings me snacks and tea when I request. Is that when Dark was arrested? They stole my dishes. I know! Thief! That's the true crime here. Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. Ah! Stabbed. Yo, I mean, I guess if the suit of armor is mounted to a plate and then that plate is mounted to the ground, because I feel like this thing should have been knocked over with the full force of a man being thrown at it. When Ema sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. Oh no, he bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. The police chief has the right to refuse to testify, and I'd better hit him hard and fast. Bah! Bah! Hit him on his square jawline. I'm gonna question it all. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran off. What do you mean you slipped up? So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that? The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess you'd have to, like, hit it with, like, a boulder to get it to move. Like, something that's gonna, like, dent the metal, and whatever frame is just... Oh my gosh, it's like a Five Nights at Freddy's suit. A skeleton in there, too, probably. Probably... Yeah, I already said this one. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. They were smooching. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Ema. Lana was cradling Ema in her arms. I like saying her name like that, it's fun. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Gadzooks. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... You found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier that my suit of armor... It was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor? Yes. Edgeworth doesn't believe it. Edgeworth smells something fishy. Anyway. So you're saying the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better be off staring at that court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? There's so many pieces. Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Okay. I think it's... I had nothing to do with this forgery. That's... Oh, sorry, Mike. That's what it is. Now the real question is... Evidence for something but what bears in the sky's prints? I feel like... Oh, first of all, I just want to check this. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Cool. Okay, so it's one of these two things because final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. EMA written in blood on the surface. Or found in Chief Gant's safe. Evidence for something, but what? What do we think, chat? I'm 50-50. I'm like, it's either the jar or it's this random piece of cloth. Because both pieces were found in Gant's safe. And it's like, if you had nothing to do with it, why would they be in your safe? Because those are the only things... I feel like this cloth is probably part of his vest. Okay, so my thing did reset. I don't remember actually. That is 100% fair. You know what? Let's do the jar because the jar we know for sure was in his office.
Objection!
Yes! Let's go. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. No, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. The cloth is... I know the cloth is going to be important, I just don't know when. Not only that, the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in this illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, sir. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Did I sneak into this office? Prosecutors aren't the only one capable of forging evidence, you know. Thank you. The ghost is back and it brought me tea. Alright, defense attorneys can do that too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. No, my boy. What? What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office. Okay. Sir, they were in a safe. It's not like they were just in your office. It's like, oh, they're just lying around. They were in your safe. You locked them behind a coded safe. And you mean to tell me that I forged this evidence? Get out of here. And their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. I'm gonna beat this man up. I liked Detective Chief Gant in the beginning. I don't like him anymore. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make that same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Ajee. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Oh? What are these guys? Telepathic? Alright, sir. Give it to me. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, then words. They would prove his investigation was illegal. Grr. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. Concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery. I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list, but the rest of the jar was found somewhere else. So why would one piece not be in the right spot? For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, wouldn't that be convenient? Right? The chief is talking about a possibility, so as long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto. Think about it. No reason I'd participate in free. Probably is a reason. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that schmurdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word schmurder here. What? But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Ema Sky. Well, now do you see?
Hold it!
Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh ho ho. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? You really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He's going to be made chief anyway. Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, and you did it for someone else. I can't wait to see this guy's crash out. I'm excited. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There is... Nope. There. It's out in the open now. OG, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me.
Hold it!
Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I truly care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. Seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh ho ho. That's a good one, Worthy. There have been something in it for him. Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Yes. Yes. Because he made sure that once Gant became chief of police, he then moved Lana over to prosecutor. Yes, yes. True, you might not help anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Hello, hello, welcome, LSPIV. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, this was my first time ever playing the Ace Attorney games, and we are on the final trial of the final chapter. So sit back, relax, get comfy, grab a snack and a drink, and maybe some cozy gear, and yeah, let's try to prove that it was Chief Gant who killed everybody. Mr. Wright. It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? I feel like it's Lana. Unfortunately, I feel like it's Lana. Because she was her and Detective Goodman were the only people who were unaffected by the result of the SL9 incident, because Jake Marshall was demoted and she was fired. So unfortunately, I think it was Lana. Sag, it happens to the best of us. Aw, I'm sorry to hear that. Sharona. Hopefully your next run is good. I hope it's the one, you know? Sorry, I'm just gonna unsteep my tea while I think. who's the person you believe Chief Gant have? Because
Take that!
I think it's Lana. The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Ema Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. Reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Bonk. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. Yo, who let this guy be a judge? Cause, like, I feel like I'd be a better judge than him. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? Puppets all the time. Yeah, I can just... Barbies, specifically. This guy plays with Barbies. That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana... She's keeping quiet to protect Ema. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I love that no one humors the judge. Yeah, it's just like... Who let this guy be a judge? Because, like... You're telling me that this dude plays with puppets? That's what... No, sir, that's not... Like... Outside the box, come on. I'm afraid without any proof, all this amounts to... This all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... This is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Or which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about... the schmurder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? Bonk. What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the schmurder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Me? Yes, Lana is just one big puppet. Order, order, order. I said order. I'd like a soda, please. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and schmurder. That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It wasn't me, Your Honor. I'm just a girl. I guess Phoenix Wright isn't a girl, but whatever. It's too late, Mr. Wright. Ah. Maybe Gant dies like playing with them. Maybe he will be played like a puppet in prison. There's no turning back for us now. It's like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, was involved in this murder? That's a great question, Your Honor. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man who plays with dolls. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. Thank you, thank you. I'm totally an actress. I did 1 year of improv in high school. That's it. All right, then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Why is that weirdly romantic from Edgeworth? It's because Edgeworth loves Phoenix Wright. I ship the two of them together, and no one can stop me. Okay. Alright. We need to show evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Oh, okay, I thought I presented it. Did he want Goodman's murder? Yeah. B? Oh! Yes. Yes. He died on the 21st, right? I'm not crazy? He... Yes. 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 This.
Take that!
This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. And there's one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777. 7777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean. Dude, why would you use your ID number for the code to your safe? Like, your ID number, I'm pretty sure is I guess, in this case, it's not really public information. I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777-7777. Too many sevens? The same as the remaining ID card number on this list. Chief Gant. Oh. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. I love the music in this game, except for the Blue Badger theme. I do not like that song. Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. It's always felt dumb to me. What always felt dumb to you, Sharona? Oh, the fact that his ID code was his safe number? But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Ah, it's some good tea. Sipping some tea while solving some crime. It is time to get down and boogie. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. That safe code being, yeah, like, really, dude? Like, you couldn't have, like, changed anything about it? I guess it was the easiest code to remember. Because he looks, maybe he's getting a little senile and he doesn't know. What's the difference? I could go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. He does not do the buddy rule when it comes to bathrooms. And this is what happens. If you had a buddy with him, I guess if you murder your bathroom buddy, then Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days.
Objection!
Hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant. I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. Your fly is open. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Okay, I finally figured out how to hold my teeth. Perfect. This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
Objection!
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. I want the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Ah, we got another bot in chat, guys. Let's go, bot. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for giving us cheap views. Appreciate you. Anyway, let's get back to crime. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? It makes sense, because there was a lot of blood on the floor. And also, how would he have ended up in Edgeworth's trunk? Like, that's still the part I don't like. Edgeworth, how, like, I don't check my trunk that often, but I also know that my trunk is not easily accessible. You gotta go into the car to get the trunk open. Like, it's just not what happens. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim met with Chief Gant on the day of the crime. This. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would had to have He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. Needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. Wink. There's no other way the Schmurderer and Detective Goodman would have entered the room. Could have entered the room. Good. Words are hard. Words are hard today. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, schmurdered poor Goodman. Yeah? Yeah, you're not... Exactly. But wait. The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. Could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mentioned it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No. No! Oh my god. The crash out was real. He just got electrocuted. Chief Gant, you didn't. The schmurder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit schmurder. After the Ash murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department earlier the entire day. Yeah, it's found in your trunk, Edgeworth. You went from the police department to the office. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. So you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we needed to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? We've got to hide the body, Gromit! Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. What did... What did he use? What did... To move... What did he use? Okay, well there's no blood on that. Did he use the blue badger? No, because... I feel like... No, he couldn't have... He used Edgeworth's car, technically. But... Want a hint? Just a hint? Sure. What you got for me, CJ? Because... I'm on the right track? Or... It doesn't help. About the blue badger? Or about the parking ticket? About Edgeworth's car? Because he did technically use Edgeworth's car to move the body. It got to the car. But how? Oh. Yeah, because the blue badger was in the room. Music stopped. Music stopped. We did it. Well, I see. Maybe I'll use this later to move your dead body. Sir, please. Huh? I'll help you dispose of it. Judge! Chief Gant suited the DP and Lana stayed in the prosecutor's office. That leaves only one possible way he could have moved the body. Only problem is how did he get him to do it? Maybe that piece of evidence really did have something to do with the scene. I'll ask you again, Mr. Wright. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body. No, I got to the car, so what relates to the car? What was found within or near? In or near? Within or is it the home? I mean, I haven't used this stupid parking stub. But am confusion. Got to the car. So what relates to the car? Is what was found in or near? Near the car? Because this was found in the trunk. And we know that I'm torn between the parking stub and this silly little note. Case of Edgeworth's. That's probably how he broke the trunk. Is it to move the victim's body? I don't know, chat. I honestly have no idea. Cause like, it just doesn't make sense. This is one of those instances where like, I don't know what they want from me. Cause like, to move the victim's body, one of the two is correct, thanks. But like, do they mean to like, move it from the police department to the office, to the prosecutor's office? Ooh. It's the part, the police department office. Okay, so then it has to be victim's memo. So then it's this. There we go. This is how we move Detective Goodman's body. A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth? You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. I mean, I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a... I I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here at in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Yeah, it's because that's what he used to jam your trunk open, dude. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Dude, how'd you get it there without anybody noticing him just... No? Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. He did. The body was already in the car. He was like, wow, my car drives heavier today. That's what I mean, like, when I get into my car, I kind of do like a 360 just to see if there's been any tampering with the car for some reason. Maybe that's just me. But like, Edgeworth don't pay attention, it seems. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? You gonna crash out again, dude? It's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. At least at this point, this just makes her an accessory to murder. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk. Wow. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. I don't think that might not be good, lol. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. You're not going anywhere, dude. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Grant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gensch murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? Do I have any concrete? I'm assuming I do, but... Why would she already have blood on her coat if she was taking the body out? This guy explains it. I don't know if you have solid proof here. Don't think I do. no proof yet. I'm sure I could find some proof, but no. I don't have evidence. I don't think I do. I have nothing. I don't think I have any concrete proof. Okay. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Udgy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Oh, Udgy, I'll leave the rest to you. Did I lose? Did I goof? Warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
Objection!
Oh. Who's a... Edgeworth? Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only method of proof is testimony. Cool. Yeah, because I was like, I don't have evidence, but we still yeah. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions. Raised in this trial, someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? May not be willing to tell the truth. Can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls forth...
Take that!
Lana Skye. The defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. It's so funny that I'm doing this case in the month of February. I just want to point that out. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now face its final recess for the day. 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway. Right. Just something to think about. Alright then. Boop, I got a lunch date to meet. He just leaves. I feel like that's a threat. I feel like you can't really do that, sir. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Dang. 2:04 p.m. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. My boyfriend. Well, not my boyfriend. Phoenix Wright's boyfriend. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean? Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair that he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to consider. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposition holds true. The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Hey! What's up, girl? Ima, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. She heard everything that's been going on. Ima, I'm sorry for what I said earlier. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now that I finally know what really happened, to think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. She did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it's easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I schmurdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. You want anyone to blame, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Oh, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Ima, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Alright, gamers. This is it. The final trial. Yes. Yes, I want to save my progress. Alright. Without further ado, we're just gonna hop right into it. Now then. Will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Please stand up. Please stand up. Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. Truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. We live in a society. That we do. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. I'm gonna poke this lady full of holes. Pop, 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 pop. The only chance we have to get Gant. To Gant, yep, Gant in the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. I only only motive was to get Dark convicted, and it had nothing to do with Ima. That's a lie. That's a big fat lie. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana, this is true, and that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. And this is no time to start second-guessing myself. Cross-examination time, baby. Alright. We're just gonna press everything like we usually do. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 at the time, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. Think about it. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. I still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. Stab Detective Goodman with a knife. And... No, you didn't. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. Didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana, so that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? Say you did it all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. A broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. That's not that. That's a switchblade. Or at least it might be. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed it was possible. Reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other Schmurder weapon? Drake was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh. That was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. Broke off the tip. Oh. It's a very strange... How strong do you have to be to break the tip of it? I guess you could just kind of jam it into the floor a couple times. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. That isn't that bad, but I maybe ought to ask for some... for the sake of the others. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you do that? Come on, come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Guy fabricated the knife. Only the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed.
Hold it!
According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the Schmurder weapon, correct? Yes, and leaving it at that might... Words. Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Drake. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound? Yes. Because I hated Dark for what he did. My only motivation was to get nothing to do with you. That's a lie. That's a lie. You love your sister. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Ima from looking like the Schmurder? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Ima didn't do it. Period. Point blank, period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. Got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Truths in this blackmail theory. No truth to this blackmail theory. Fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Broke off the tip of the knife. We've got to hide the body from it. This one is also difficult. Because, like... I have pressed them all. She broke the top of Dark's knife. That's what she's saying. Crazy. Okay. You ask about why she moved the body? Took off the tip, planted it inside. I can repress this. Planted the tip of Drake's, and then you moved the body? Why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. Oh, I guess, yeah, there is the other option here. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. The body was found by your desk. Why did did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. Thank you, chat. Thank you. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
Hold it!
Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expectant to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. This poor dude. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Ina? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. I have a feeling there is more to it than that. Must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. Expedient. No, okay. So, there's two options for lines that I use for the evidence. So one is this line. I think both of them are using the jar. Both of them are using the jar. So this one, only because she said that it would have threatened her plan. And we came to the conclusion that that line looks pretty sus. Yeah, we came to the conclusion that the jar had Ima's name written on it and then was wiped away. Why would you need to wipe away something? That line looks pretty, yeah. Because the other option is, let me just say, my only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Ima. This is the other line that I think the jar could be used for, because Ima's name was written on the jar. At least, that's what we think. At least that's what I think, at least. So, but CJ's saying that the other line looks more suspicious than this line. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. The jar line, I guess. Alright, chat. With the jar, though. Am I using the jar as evidence? Wow. Wow, Seppa. I can't believe it. DJ. How could you? How could you not remember? Use the crowbar in the attic with Colonel Mustard. There is no Colonel Mustard in this game. Wrong game! What? What you want? Oh, I'm just dumb. Jar would have been written on it before it broke, but it fell earlier. Yeah, that's another thing, because she said that during this line, too. Really quickly, I'm just gonna repress this one. Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. Yeah, Sharona is a Giga Brain. In order to show that Drake committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So when you first... Just slowly recalling this case. All good, I appreciate it anyway. When you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. No, sorry, Marshall. Just throwing you up there. Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. No. No. Okay, yeah. Is the jar. Is the jar. Alright. I think it's this line with the jar.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction with your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? Testified, and I quote, "Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar in the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Bonk. He wouldn't have written Emma's name on he couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. That's true. That's true. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to the jar in this bloody message. You may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Haha, piece. Haha, jar. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and the message in blood. I immediately noticed the traces of blood on the jar. Wow. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. See, this is what happens when I try to read too quickly. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real schmurderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright, lady.
Hold it!
You said it was dark. How did you notice it if it's dark? So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Judge. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have.
Hold it!
So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them into dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you'd do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking.
Hold it!
I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? I really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall. He wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. But you missed one. You missed a piece.
Hold it!
you see? How could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. Detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. No, you didn't. That's a lie. So you illegally rearranged this crime scene? Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. So sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Yeah, no, because the one piece was found literally in dude's safe. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. The One Piece. The One Piece! Yeah. This. I like that Wright's just like, alright, I found it. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? Knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified. She gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defense have simply missed a piece? Defendant? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that? Sir, we're not here to talk about your teeth. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. This man's. Oh my gosh, it's like your grandpa. You're getting his dentures in his mouth. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? I was looking for my dentures, but they were in my mouth at the same time. Yep. The question is, I sentenced you to death. Yeah. I sentenced you to death and then his teeth fall out. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. Proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister, Ima, killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dirk. Sparing Ima, And therein lies the reason. Reason why Sky became the chief's puppet. Ooh, girly, don't bite your thumb like that. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Ima. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. You are my client, lady. Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Sir, wait a minute. What if... we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Ima's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. Something is indeed right. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. I want the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right. The witness may testify once more for the final time. Didn't deny it. Didn't. Actually, when I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. It's a spear, actually. Ima in dark, relying lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the schmurder. The head chief can't help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. If it all really was a fabrication, Ima might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. Thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Anna must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Give me a picture book, lady. Please present this picture. I remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. This was the only thing she gave me. Oh, I saw it. Oh. Dude. I literally just opened the book and I was like, let me click this thing. Hey, there's a picture here. Ooh. Oh my. This is actual crime scene and his thingy's ripped. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Gasp! Mr. Wright. That piece cut out from his vest, could that be? Cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? And it had... So she did... Or maybe did he just, like, cut it off to make it... to incriminate her? A cloth that had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints those are must be the real schmurderer. What? Those fingerprints. Yours, Ima. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real schmurderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I didn't press anything. Sir? Get out of here. I do not want you here. Go back to your lunch. Go back to your lunch date, dude. Come now, Gidgee. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Kent. What? Now you want me to make out... Blah. Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. He wants to catch these hands. Rated E for everyone. Buy one, get one free. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you've forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. What? You want to make out? Yeah, he's just like, I'm just here to smooch. That's all I'm here for. I'm just here for smooches. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Now you to make out? Yes, please. Looked like he had been electrocuted. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone. So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Zen mode. I show that piece of evidence now. He must sure to be made out as the schmurderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, it will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? One who shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Do we show the evidence, chat? I still have this book. No, you know what would happen if you do. Alright, chat says no. Cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant? You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. Sir, but you said that stuff wasn't... I put that stuff there before. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Shh, shut up. Shut up. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the schmurderer. I'll tell what really happened. Dude, no, you can't do that. What? You mean you admit to it? Dude, I thought he wasn't allowed to testify anymore. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky? I told her to rearrange all the evidence, and I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a schmurder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for? A fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I took it. I hid the most legible part of Ima's name. Didn't expect Lana to go ahead and wipe the blood off all pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Ho, ho, ho. What is he, Santa now? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more piece for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant. That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, but being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a schmurderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it when you... You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. The moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Do I show him the evidence? Remember why that cloth was weird. I remember why that cloth was weird. What do you mean? Show the evidence. You got him on the ropes. Okay. I show him the cloth. That's... Right. Show evidence. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. Wouldn't the cloth be soaked? It would be covered in blood! So he cut it off before... Yeah, because this part of the jacket... Okay. I see where you're getting at. I see where you're getting at.
Take that!
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes. At last, you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho 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 ho. as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Raito had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? I mean, you already know. You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? I do. Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whom these fingerprints belong to is...
Take that!
Ima? Ima Sky? What? They're mine. I'm sorry, Ima. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh ho ho ho. You're really something, Raito. You knew this girl did it all along. You still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, and yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. Purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. Phoenix Wright is silent. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? But before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Really cute. Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Ima Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. See, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? Contradiction? What is this fool blabbing about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Everyone's so sassy in this game. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Yoink. What exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make it out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured, blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it! Since Ima Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, that's nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. So, then tell me, who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? And to make it look like Ima was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar in the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. Make Lana believe her sister did it. Crash out again, dude. Do it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual schmurderer. No! It's finally all over. I like his, like, electric... Oh. Ah. That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Oh my god. Dude. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. Dude, you're sweating bullets. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth? Is illegal. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, Alrighto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then what's your excuse, Righto? Do you have some conclusive evidence, do you? Don't you? Do you? Don't you? Your Honor, don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. That's the key word there. Also, illegal evidence is allowed to be there as long as it is connected to the case. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. That's not fair. Ho, 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 ho. Did you actually think you could beat me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Nope. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? I know, it's the book. I know, it's the book. I know. It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? Hold on. I want to make sure. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. It's the book. You purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth. I did not. It's time for the basic. Yeah, so I didn't conceal. Yeah. No evidence shall be shown without the... Did you, though? Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Technically, I said I'd have nothing to show you at this time. I didn't say that I didn't have evidence at all. I just... Well, Wright said. I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha, so the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Ajit, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. There is only one issue left to to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. You can prove your conduct was not This. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. Is this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Ema Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. Second rule of evidence law. Give 'em the book. Phone book 'em. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. Goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Objection!
I'm not done yet, sir. Sorry, but you can recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. Hello, GamerX459. Welcome, welcome. Throw the library card and take the book and chuck it in his face. Hello, Hiya. Hi, welcome, welcome. You came very close to maybe the end of this trial. Seems to be going on forever, but yeah, I'm ready to smack this dude with a book. I hope it's a phone book because they don't leave bruises. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, I don't know why I kind of have a British accent. How did I know that? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just very wisdomous, as you will. Anyway, on the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. That's the voice I'd like to think that he... It was then you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Bonk. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real schmurderer. There's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you. Oh my god, dude. Oh, is he just gonna pass out? Man, I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. 2 years he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. The evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Gardner. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room, and all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? I can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. That's when you gave him the 1-2 good one girl 1-2 stab. He opened his evidence locker and he was taking the evidence out. And as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. Ugh. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so wouldn't only lead to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. Bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. Everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Grr. He's like, do you know how much my insurance is gonna go up because of this? Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker? I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So you left the jar fragments in the glove? Not the insurance! It's gonna skyrocket. Man's never gonna be able to drive again. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They did all their best to get in my way. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. Hey, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go at. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I just noticed Edward doesn't really have eyebrows. Fine. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Edgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I killed people. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. Sorry to learn that you were no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright out here. Sorry, Big Udgy, no lunch for me. Have a shot on my behalf. And Worthy. With these two around, can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sound of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the very beginning. Well, not the very beginning, just from the beginning. You see, Miss Skye, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. Bonk. So, seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Skye. Couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. She smiled. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Sky. I mean, yeah, she was technically an accessory to murder, so. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. All tsundere-like. Baka? Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop! I only did my job. Edgeworth is totally a tsundere. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examination is in order for all of us. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor? You were innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. The trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty! Confetti. Confetti. Again, I hate to be the janitorial staff who has to clean up all this. That is all. This court is adjourned. Baka. Yeah, that's totally Edgeworth. He'll be like, I didn't do it, but shut up, Wright. Baka. At long last, it's finally over. This game is finally over. Huh? By the long face. Sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. See why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. To you, Mr. Edgeworth. Suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. Yes, she smiled. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Is the camera being weird again? It's fine. I'll move up a little bit. Dang, Detective Gumshoe, you really know how to, like, ruin the schmood. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Detective... Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Air horn, exactly. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. You're the one... On top of that, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. What? Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Ima, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago. That was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis. I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. Thought I was doing it for your sake. Now, I realize I was wrong. I changed changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself. I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Ima, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Look at that. Oh, Ima. Ima! They're gonna hug. It's gonna be a touching reunion. Yeah, it is. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. Ha ha ha! Rightful! But it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. Don't cry. I'm not. It's fine. Fine. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. He's just hiding behind a tree, like that tree in the background there, like this one here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. That's not the face I would think of you would say when you're congratulating somebody. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Baka. Yeah, he was definitely like standing around and just like, Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. What? I thought he walked away. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. Oh. No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, stop being so edgy. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gamp was right. Despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. For just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you tried to go at it alone. Yeah, so just don't be a loner. Duh. Come join my office. We'll solve crime together. Kiss. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows, given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma. Both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. They both made the same mistake. Kiss more. Exactly. They're boyfriends and they're kissing. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true. Think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You had your boyfriend. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Oh, what? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Get a big fat smooch on the lips, just mwah, tongue and all. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Something that neither Edgeworth or I would have been able to find on our own. What? Huh? I don't understand. Is it the power of friendship? Is it the friends we made along the way? The men we kissed along the way? Like, I don't... What was the piece of evidence Edgeworth helped get? Is it this? Is it this? It's definitely Yowie, for sure. That's the... Is it? That's the picture I drew. Okay, that's not what I wanted, but I guess that's what I needed. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other half. Yeah, Sharona is Turbo Brain. You get the Turbo Brain award for the day. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Ima's picture. Picture? Maybe? It didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Oh, Edgeworth, don't say that. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Pause playing so my brain can work on this case. I'm sorry, you didn't have to. But I appreciate you all the same. Edgeworth, what will you do now? What will I do without you? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. Yes, I agree with CJ. Thank you. I know, it seems I owe you my thanks too, right? Look at that, look at that, look at that! Oh. But what I face now is my problem. It's fine, I died again. I'm sorry. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Little, you know. Wink. I'll be waiting for you again in court. Puts hair behind ear. I'd better get going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. Seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, scientific investigation. This is a little something for you. Scientific. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. Fades out of existence. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. A court to get married, exactly. Faith that their lives have only just begun. As for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Bye, my boyfriend. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? It's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it might be okay with me, but the folks at the prison have a different story. Huh? basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak around for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Was it 50 bucks? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, haha. You see, Mr. Wright here's the one who will be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Ah, my wallet. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Objection!
I get actual lawyer debt. Yeah. Well then. Arranged for a friend in Europe. Oh. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Ima. We did it, chat! We did it! After a long, hard battle, we did it. We beat the very first Ace Attorney game. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If they penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. Oh my good golly gracious. This game is hard. And I'm scared for the next two because I feel like they're just gonna get harder and I'm dumb sometimes. But it's okay. I think we can figure it out, chat. Alright, who else are we talking to? Meegans! My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. Partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir, then I can be just like Dick Gumshoe. Honestly, this game was pretty good. I will admit, it's a lot of reading, and I am, again, a silly goose, and sometimes harder, sometimes more obtuse. Yeah, there have been... I've witnessed some of the, like, other games. Hard to figure it out but it's the game's fault. Yeah, I know that some of the other games really do... Oh no, he broke! Oh no, he broke! Yeah, so... I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm not sure... So I know... I guess this is a good time to talk about this. So, finish the first game. Huzzah. What do you want? What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch? The star managed to sneak this in for me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. We even got Bambina back her smile. You can make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Is he talking about the cactuses? Oh no, anyway. So, my plan, because, like, technically it's a trilogy, right? So, I don't care. I don't care about this lady anymore. So, we've beat the first game. Great, awesome, cool. We're definitely gonna play the second and the third game. Although, I'm unsure if I will stream the other, 9 games? That's a lot of Phoenix Wright Ace. I know they're not all called that, but whatever. So, yeah. Gonna play through the first trilogy on stream for sure, and see how I feel. As for plans for after the conclusion of the first game, I think I'm gonna take, like, a little bit of a short break. Don't want to burn myself out on these games because it takes a while for me to get through them. Because my stream schedule is somewhat irregular, but I'm trying to make it work. Oh, that was a cool chair. I like his chair. So I think, yeah, for now, we're gonna take a short break from the Ace Attorney trilogy and either finish up some of the Switch games that I have that I've been meaning to finish, where it's like I'm literally at the last leg of said game, and or we're gonna, hey, it's my girl! Nothing soothes the soul like a fresh country air. I hope she's training under a waterfall. Main trilogy is the one to go through. Exactly. So I feel like I have to play the first 3 games. End of story. And then after that, we'll see. Chronicles is also a lot of fun, because Chronicles is the prequel to this trilogy, right? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But yeah, so after this, it's either gonna be finishing up some of the end of some of my games. I'll have to do just a smidge bit of research to see like how long it will take me, because obviously like I don't want to get into a game and then like it be done in like 20 minutes and it's like, okay, well, worst comes to worst, I could always just play something else. But I think I want to do at least a Hades stream. It's been a while since I've played Hades. I want to suffer on the internet, and also I still haven't beaten it, and I have to beat it before I'm allowing myself to play the second one. I gotta at least beat like one run of Hades, like of the first game. So, because yeah, I don't know when the full release for Hades 2 is coming out, but I can't play that one until I've at least beaten the first one. I do also have like some rhythm games we can play. Y'all can watch my hand-eye coordination. What? Yeah, exactly. I gotta beat Hades for gamer cred. What is this? Oh, cute. There's a couple games I need to beat for gamer cred. I also need to finish Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, the Miles Edgeworth. My boyfriend, I actually bought him... Is that the one I bought him? No, I bought him Apollo Justice, the Apollo Justice remaster for Switch. He bought himself Edgeworth. My boy Edgy. Yeah, here we go. That's booze to get booze. Heck yeah! Thank you for joining me. I had so much fun playing with everyone. I appreciate the backseating, especially on games that like games like this where it's like I'm thinking too much. I just need to be redirected. I very much appreciate it. So thank you, CJ. Thank you, Sharona, for joining me. That wasn't grammar. That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Grammar doesn't need to exist all the time. I will happily backseating with you. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful that I had such a wonderful chat here tonight on our final stream of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first game. So, you know what? We'll see what the second game has in store for us. So I think, yeah, I'm so glad that YouTube recommended me to you. I hope you stick around for the next couple games, the next couple streams. Stick around for as long as you'd like. I appreciate you regardless, friend. Yeah, I try to stream at least 2 to 3 times a week, on both YouTube and Twitch. So yeah, keep an eye out, subscribe, if you would like. And I'm sure that will give you notifications of when I go live, and if you're able to pop in, awesome, great, love that. If not, totally understand, life is busy, it happens. But I think we're gonna end it there, folks, because it has been almost 4 hours, and I also worked a full day today, so I am very tired and I would like to go to bed. So once again, thank you so very much, everyone, for joining me on the finale of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll give you a sub back. Sub for sub. That's what we do here. But yeah, without further ado, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, evening, or night wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you at the next stream. Peace and chicken grease. I hit the wrong button again.